All right, now I want to move on. Next game, Arkansas versus Texas. We went over, did a kind of takeover for QB Spotlight. So anyone who's watching from over there, you've heard a lot of this, but that was mainly about Arch Manning and what he has to do against Arkansas, what we expect him to do against Arkansas. This is just more of a big time preview of this game. The spread right now, or at least last time I checked, was 8.5 in favor of Texas, and then it's 57.5 over under. That may have shifted as well. So let's kind of get into it. So your thoughts on this game, and then in-season AI, what it's telling us.
Yeah, absolutely. So just from our pick standpoint, we have Texas winning this game at an 86% clip. We have a very high conviction on this pick as well. Just kind of breaking into what this means. When we say an 86% chance of winning, what we do is rerun thousands of simulations across every game and every hypothetical matchup this year, and then look at how the metrics stack up against one another in order to pick, who the winner is of each game. This is fully done autonomously. I have no discretion in terms of saying, hey, 86% is the number I'm picking, but our conviction rating is kind of saying, hey, this is also a highly accurate pick throughout the year. Conviction rate of 73% equates to around a historical accuracy of, around 87%. So not only do we think that Texas is going to win this game, from a metric standpoint, we're pretty highly confident in this pick as well. So if I'm betting on this game, I'm taking Texas money line for sure. We won't get into the spreads and kind of how close this matchup will be. But from that standpoint, that's what we're looking at. And
kind of just briefly on that, I was just going to say, the in-season insiders had advanced knowledge to all of these picks from last week and the last few weeks. People on X, Instagram, TikTok got to see the 5 highest conviction picks. And of those picks, they went 5 for 5 last week. So, anyone who parlayed that on a $100 money line parlay, those kind of highest conviction picks made $350 some odd dollars doing that. So, I know sometimes it's easy to pick when, money line winners when the spread is huge, but there are upsets. Obviously, Texas A&M last week, if you were picking Texas A&M, you were a little worried if you had picked them money line. So didn't mean to cut you off, but just wanted to briefly highlight, how it's been so successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if you have any questions or if you want to take a look at kind of what a little bit more in depth, every game, every week, we run both models for predicting the outcome of game as well as the conviction we have on our pick. So take a look at that as well. But just kind of quickly kind of deviating a little bit into, why are we saying 86% and why is the conviction rating so high? And it really relies on Arkansas has a great offense going against a great Texas defense. And Texas has kind of, an up and down offense this year going against a terrible defense for Arkansas. I mean, they rank 13th in SP plus offense and 87 in SP plus defense. That's kind of the story that we've seen from Arkansas all year. They lose a bunch of close games because they're able to put up a lot of points. But their defense is not able to hold anything, especially when it comes down to the fourth quarter. So I think that this is going to be a big bounce back game for Texas in terms of saying, hey, let's get Arch just in the pocket. Let's have him make smart plays, attack the deep ball when possible, because that's really where Arch thrives. Give him a little bit more time in the pocket. And I think this is going to be kind of one of those Texas roll games where they're able to say, hey, bad loss last weekend against Georgia, bounce back win against the Arkansas Razorbacks this weekend, looking forward ahead to a very tough matchup against A&M in week 14. So I'm happy to look at anything more from a metric perspective if you want to take a look at anything in particular, but that's just game.
Yeah, I think that's you've kind of hit all the points I had highlighted. I think the key to success, if you're Sark trying to set up a game plan for Arch, you're trying to continue what you've done really since the Oklahoma game, which is get the ball out of Arch's hands earlier and faster and faster, get the ball to playmakers, and then start taking deep shots earlier. For a while there, they weren't taking any deep shots, had really only taken one in the first quarter of games.
Yeah.
And so they've started doing that more. And really, when you're getting the ball out of his hands early and you're able to run the ball better, which they have been as of late, obviously the Georgia game offensively wasn't great, for Texas, but they have been running the ball better with Wisner and all of that. So if they're able to, bring the safeties and corners up, bring the defensive backs up, even the linebackers up, that gives them a chance to hit Wingo or someone else over the top.
Yeah,
And I think we're going to see some of that just with how the Arkansas Razorbacks have defensively been able to stop teams or not be able to stop teams,
yeah.
and kind of what we're seeing from Arch as of late. I think that's going to be the game plan, and that's probably where you will see Texas kind of take over the game.
For sure. And like just kind of highlighting that point, just kind of a little bit driving it home more. Arkansas's run defense has been okay. They're top, 35 percentile in that, but they're not able to get pressure to the quarterback. They're 52nd percentile in doing that across all FBS teams this year. But their coverage rating is abysmal. I mean, they're bottom 20 percentile in coverage, which kind of plays saying, hey, Arch needs a bounce back game. He needs a little bit more time in the pocket because the offensive line has had struggle this year. And so that deep threat is open. And so when Arch has that deep threat ability open, he makes those plays, fairly consistently when he's able to get a little bit more time in the pocket. So that's really where I see the, Texas offensive edge being able to kind of, outwit this defense. And I think that Texas's defense will be able to hold Arkansas's offense to, a fairly, formidable score. I don't think that Texas defense will be able to hold them, strictly, as we've seen the last couple games. Texas allowed a lot of points, but I think that the offense for Texas is just going to pick apart Arkansas's defense.
Yeah, I agree. So that is the Week 13 preview for Arkansas versus Texas. If you are here from QB Spotlight, if you're a subscriber, thank you. Please comment, like, subscribe. Check us out on X, Instagram, TikTok, and then check out INSZN.co or INSZNCFB.com to find all of this info and subscribe and become an In-Season Insider.